Hello. This presentation is going to talk about the five, that should say, hardware categories of a computer system. Every piece of hardware in a computer system can fit into one of these five categories. Our first category is input devices, and an input device is any device that gives data to the computer. Common ones are the keyboard, the mouse, a webcam, and a scanner. These input data into the computer. Now, once the data goes into the computer, there is an area or a category of hardware that processes the instructions to do what we want the computer to do. So our next category is processing and memory. And these parts are responsible for the executing the instructions to make things happen on the computer. So these two parts work together to make our computer work. The first part is the CPU. This is the brains of the computer, and this is the bit that processes the instructions. Okay, now the inside a computer is a motherboard. And on that motherboard is a CPU that goes in this area that goes right on here. That's a CPU. CPU also looks like this. Here's the top bit, here's the bottom bit. And these pins go into this socket here. The next part of this is the RAM. And RAM holds the instructions and data being used immediately by the CPU. So whatever instructions that we send to the CPU, it first goes into the RAM, and then the CPU gets it from the RAM. So everything that you see happening on the computer, actually the instructions go into the RAM first, and then the CPU grabs it and processes those instructions. Once again, if we look at our motherboard here, we have the CPU, and here is the RAM right there. And if we looked at the RAM would look like this right there. Okay, now, so we input the data, it goes to the RAM, the CPU grabs those instructions and does whatever those instructions tell it to do. And once it processes it, then it has to show it to us. And this category is called output devices. These are devices that display information that we humans can understand. So when we type something on a keyboard, the instruction for each letter goes to the RAM, the CPU grabs it, processes it, and it actually says, right, when you press this letter, put it up on my monitor. So it input, processes it, and then sends it to an output device, which in this case would be a monitor. Other common output devices are a printer, your speakers, and a data projector. Next, after we do all that, now we have to keep our files safe. This is where storage comes in. These are devices that hold data and programs permanently. Okay, can you think of any devices that do that? One should come immediately to mind, and that's your hard drive. That is inside your computer. And that is what holds, that's the main type of storage, or that's the main type of storage device that holds all the information. Of course, you have USBs, you have CDs and DVDs, and you also have external hard drives. So after you create this document and you store it, most people then want to share it with other people. Now, any device that helps us do that is called a communication device. And these are devices used to connect to a network. Now, let's pretend that you're at home. And at home, in order to connect to the internet and send emails and share with everyone, you have an ADSL modem. And an ADSL modem looks like this. That's what you would have at home. That is an ADSL modem. That connects you up to the internet from your computer. Another communications hardware device is a network card. Inside your computer, At the back, when you connect up to a network, you have inside your computer is a network card, and the cables, which we'll talk about next, get plugged into this hole right here. The last device to connect up to a network for communications is a cabling, and this is called a Cat5 cable. And a Cat5 cable is what's generally used for networking. And if you have a look at the back of your computer now in the classroom or even at home, you will probably see a cable that runs from your router, the back of it, and plugs into the back of your computer, which is the network card. And if we look at all that together, we have our 5 categories of hardware for a computer system: input, processing and memory, output, storage, and communication.